According to Pew Research survey today, an all-time high, 57% of Americans now in favor of legalizing recreational marijuana. Governor, do you agree with the majority?
No, I don't. I was proud as governor to sign into law the bill that allows us to have medical marijuana. I think that that is the right and compassionate and appropriate thing to do. I also think a young person shouldn't have their life, any person shouldn't have their life ruined by a simple possession charge. So I was proud to enact a bill this year that allows us, our court system, more flexibility in terms of penalties. But I don't think legalizing marijuana is appropriate, especially given the epidemic we're dealing with heroin and opioids.
Same question for you, Senator.
I don't support legalizing marijuana. I've heard directly from those on the front lines, first responders, and also addiction experts, the concerns they actually have about legalizing marijuana and how it could be connected in terms of really dealing with issues like our heroin epidemic. So I would not support this, and obviously going back to being Attorney General of this state, working closely with law enforcement and hearing from them on it, I could not support it.
All right, next question. Are you in favor of federal term limits? Senator.
Yes, I am, and I've actually co-sponsored legislation on term limits.
And you said you cap it at 2.
At 2 in the Senate, 12 years.
Okay, your take.
The best term limit is the ballot box. I think we have a very engaged citizenry in New Hampshire, and we can decide when people deserve to be reelected and when they don't.
Okay, next question. Federal minimum wage, Governor, is $7.25. Federal minimum wage. What do you think it should be?
I think no one who is working full-time should live in poverty, which is in fact what happens right now when people earn the federal minimum wage. It's just morally unacceptable, and it also means that our families don't have the kind of disposable income to spend on consumer goods that drive our economy, right? So I would support raising it, phasing it in to $12 an hour, but we have to do it over time and work with our businesses.
Senator?
I believe that the focus shouldn't be on minimum wage. It should be on better paying jobs. So I travel around our state and I look at the jobs that are opening in manufacturing and technology that are well beyond minimum wage, because families can't live on minimum wage. And so I think better education in STEM and career technical education, a tax code that keeps jobs in this country. So when there have been efforts in Washington, one of the things I'm worried about is that I haven't been able to support them because we'd lose between 500,000 and 1 million jobs has been the economic analysis. So we don't want to lose jobs. Those are often sometimes entry-level jobs. My first job was as a bus girl at a restaurant here in New Hampshire.
Right,
so what I want to focus on is better jobs than minimum wage jobs.
All right, we'll end the lightning round with, I know it's November, but on the October Classic. And I'm sure a lot of people will be watching this as soon as this debate is over. So, Senator, Cubs or Indians?
Well, I kind of like to root for the underdog. The Cubs came from behind, so you know, I think the Cubs. But I got to tell you, it's a bummer not to have the Sox in. I would have loved to see Big Papi go out with a World Series win.
Yeah, me too. Same question for you.
Well, we can agree on wishing the Red Sox were in the World Series, but I'm rooting for the Cubs.